Welcome, everybody. I'm not going to hang about. I'm just going to get stuck in and started on this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Susie McElwee and I'm the Communications Manager here at Business in the Community. So it's me and my team that leads on the Responsible Business Awards in Northern Ireland. And I've got my colleague Marie on the call as well. Just to let you know that this presentation is being recorded and we'll get this up on the Awards Hub on our website so you can watch back and you can watch me at speed as well if you need to catch up or leave for any reason. But I'm really pleased that you're on the call today. It means that you already know what the awards are. Maybe you've entered them before. And the likelihood is that because you're on this call, you're thinking of actually entering them yourselves. We've got 13 categories available. So you might have thought about the category that you're thinking already, or this webinar is going to inspire you to choose another category or a few other categories. And hopefully this webinar is going to give you a few little hints and tips just to make you make the best entry that you can to give yourself the best chance of winning. Um, just to let you know what we'll be chatting about today, I'll go through a little bit of information about the awards. I'll briefly mention the categories. We'll tell you just the practicalities of around how to enter. I'll give you some top tips on how to make a good entry and where to score extra points. And we'll explain how the judging works as well, because it's a really robust three-stage process. I'll give you the key dates so you can get those in there in your diary and tell you a little bit about the gala event. There is time for questions too. But if you could hold those until the end and we'll check through all those. There's a chat function and a Q&A function and we'll keep an eye on both. I see there's people joining just a wee bit after the start of the event there. You're very welcome. I was just running through the agenda of what we're going to go through and letting you know that the session's recorded if you need to catch up for any reason. So the awards, in 2025, we're actually celebrating our 20th year of the awards. So they've been going for a long time. Everyone loves to win an award of any kind, but these ones are very, very unique in that they celebrate all things responsible business. But we're hoping that, it gives you an opportunity to recognize the work that you and your colleagues do throughout the year that's beyond profit to be a force for good in society. The awards can also be used to highlight the reputation of your organisation as a responsible business. And that's not even just the winners, but even reaching through to the finalist stage is an amazing accolade. So it's really worth throwing your hat in the ring. And, one of the main reasons that we run these awards is to inspire other organisations. So when we announce our winners, we'll share all the case studies on our website. And if you're lucky enough to be one of those winners, it's a fabulous way to profile what you're doing. And for other organisations, or organizations or the finalists that didn't make it through to have a look and see where they can pick up on bits and pieces that they're maybe not doing. So it's a really impactful and inspirational thing to do. Just to highlight as well, you'll see in that top little slide that there's a clicker sign. We will share these slides afterwards, and if there is an associated web page with that section of the presentation, you can just click right through to get more information. I just want to take a moment to say thank you to our sponsors and partners for the awards as well. We really couldn't do it without them, and we're delighted to have so many of them back on board or on board for 2025. I want to say in particular a massive thank you to Henry Brothers, who have been working with us for a number of years now, and we're a dream team, a dream partnership, and it's been fabulous to have their support for the last few years. Okay, so on to our categories, 13 categories in 2025. It's the same as last year, only a slight change that I'll flag with you. All of them are free to enter. Even the top award is completely free to enter as well, and they're open to organisations from all sectors and organisations of all sizes. So do consider them all. There are only two exceptions with the who can enter which categories. One is the NI Responsible Company of the Year award, and that is our top award of the Responsible Business Awards. And that's only open to private sector companies that are members of business in the community and have been through CORE, which is our standard for responsible business. The other one is the One to Watch Award, which is for member organisations that have joined business in the community since January 2023. And all the other ones are completely up for grabs, so you can have a look through and see what you want. So just to note, it's free to enter. You might want to think about entering the same initiative across a number of categories. So if you have one thing in particular, it could fit into nature and biodiversity or impact in your community, and you just might need to tweak the entry slightly to meet the criteria. So do think about where you could make it easy for yourself to enter into another category. And there is one category which is a nomination category, and that's the Responsible Business Ambassador Award. And that's for the winner of that award is an individual. It's a person who's nominated by a colleague, and it's somebody that's really driving responsible business inside and outside of their business and having a real positive impact. Um, the judging for that is slightly different, which I'll explain later, but you will get all the information about each of the categories on our website if you want to go into detail on that. I did mention that there'd been one very, very slight change on our categories this year. Last year we had the Diversity and Inclusion Award. We've added equity to that, so it's the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Award. And that's just to recognise those organisations that are really going above and beyond to provide fair and equal opportunities for everybody, employees, no matter what their individual needs or their intersectionalities are. So the criteria has just been adjusted slightly to reflect that name change. I mentioned going on our website for more information. If you want to visit bitcni.org.uk/awards, all of the vital links that you need are on that page, as well as links to our Judgify platform where you'll be able to actually make your entry. There's also a link on that page to our criteria and processes section of the website. So if you see those three bubbles at the top, it's the one on the right hand side, and that's where we will give you all the detail on the judging process and all of the nitty gritty on each of the different categories. So you can have a look at that before you even log on to the Judgify platform to start your entry. That's the page there. So it will give you detailed category descriptions, and you'll have your key dates on there for your diary, the questions, guidance, the word count, which is something to keep an eye on, and it'll tell you about the judging process. So the first of our tips, just whenever you're thinking about what you want to enter, visit our awards hub, decide on the categories that you want to enter, read through the criteria. I would recommend that you start telling your colleagues that you're thinking about entering certain awards, because what you'll find is that people will be able to contribute supporting evidence to really build a compelling entry. And they might have photographs or graphics or things that they can actually provide that you can add to your entry, and start it in good time. Our deadline for entries is the 2nd of May, so you've still got tons of time, but the earlier that you get started, the better, and it just gives you more time to collect all that information. I did mention earlier about reading through whether your entry would fit into more than one category. An example of that would be, say that you are talking about a community outreach program that's creating green spaces that could possibly fit in the impact in your community category and the nature and biodiversity category. It might even fit into the collaborative action category if you're working in partnership with another. It could be a private company or it could be a voluntary sector organization. So there's cross work there that can be done. Do you consider the time frame of your initiative as well, and when that's actually been running? And sorry, that should actually say 2024 and 2025, not 2023 and 2024. So that you just want to double check that your initiative has been running for that time, and that's when we'll be asking for evidence of action and impact. And then get registered on the Judgify platform. It's a really simple platform to use. It's very intuitive, and it just asks some information about you and your organisation before you get into the detail of the category submission too. That's what it looks like there, just a form that you'll fill in, and you'll be able to start, save, submit, edit. Even if you have submitted already, you'll be able to unsubmit and resubmit again before the deadline date on the 2nd of May. So there's plenty of time to make changes and edits as you go. Whenever it actually comes to making your entry, have a look at the criteria and try to reflect the language in it. It just makes it easier for our judges to award you those precious points and see how you've met the criteria. There is a word limit, and I do appreciate that it's you'll have company specific acronyms that you might want to use or that you're very au fait with, but our judges might not know what they mean. So unless they're very obvious, or explained in the entry, try to avoid using shortened terms and things if you're thinking about word count. Do explain the obvious and bring it up the front. You know, if you want to think about your entry almost like a press release or a newspaper article where you've got your grabbing headline, the impact that you've made, the big statements, and then follow up with the detail after that. Emphasize the positive impacts of your initiative or your project, whatever that is, and think about who that's actually affected or involved. Think about all your stakeholders. So that's society, the environment. It might be more closely linked, you'd think, to some of the climate or the nature categories, but actually, if there's an environmental impact on some of the other categories, include that as well. But also the benefits to your company. You know, we know that to be a responsible functioning business, you need to be successful. So if there's data that's, for example, through our climate positive initiative, we reduced our energy costs by 20%, or our well-being strategy meant that our retention improved by such and such a percent. Include that information because we want to see how that's been really good for your business too. And our judges will be looking for that information so they can award points for that too. On the Judgify platform, you're able to upload 4 JPEG images, so no videos, unfortunately. But be clever about how you use those images. You know, it could be some of the beneficiaries that you've worked with, or it could be a graph or an infographic that you're showing. Just, our judges are reading through a lot of entries and can get overwhelmed by a lot of extra information. So things that are visual and aesthetic are the better way to go rather than a lot of text when it comes to that supporting evidence or photographs. And do check your formatting. What we've seen every year is that, and it's probably the approach that I would take, is that I would maybe start my entry offline and write it up in a Word document. But what are noticing is that sometimes the formatting comes across differently onto the Judgify platform and the ends of sentences can go missing. So just a little reminder to read through your entry before you press submit. So judging wise then, after you've made your entry before 5 p.m. on the 2nd of May, we enter a really robust 3-stage judging process. The first stage is our internal shortlisting, where we decide who our finalists are, and then we'll announce our finalists on the 21st of May. That's all done internally by BITC, and anybody that's awarded a finalist accolade will go through to stages 2 and 3 of the judging process, which is where the points are awarded. You don't need to do anything for that first stage. You've already got your written entry submitted by the deadline. Our judges will take some time to score those based on the criteria. And then you'll be called for our panel interviews, which will take place either on the 24th or the 25th of June. The reason we can't give you a specific date for that just yet is about the coordination of making sure that we have enough rooms for all of the different categories, and we need to make sure that we can fit them all in and that our judges are available. So we can't tell you when that will be, but we'll get that information across to you sooner rather than later so you can save the date. But with those judging panels, it's your opportunity to bring your entry to life. And, I appreciate that you'll send 2 of your representatives. It could be the person who's made the entry, or it could be somebody else in the organization. And we'll sit in front of our panel of 3 judges who are lovely. And they all want you to get the most points that you can from your entry. So I know it's easier said than done, but just try not to be nervous at that stage. You've got to the finalist stage. You've already got 50% of your marks already. That stage is just about bringing your entry to life. And those interviews take place at the Innovation Factory on the Springfield Road in Belfast. So that's the same place we've had them for the last 2 years. The way that those panel interviews look is that you'll get a half-an-hour slot, 5 minutes to give a verbal summary. So there's no presentations or anything like that. You'll just sum up your presentation or sum up your entry. So it's good if you know that inside and out. Our judges will be familiar with the entry, so they might actually have some pre-prepared questions just where there are gaps or they feel that they could press you a little bit more to get a few more questions. And then there'll be 15 minutes of questions. So that's 20 minutes. The last 10 minutes you're asked to leave, and our judges will do their scoring and note all of that down. It it is a nerve-wracking experience, but it's also a great experience. And you're at that stage of the entry process, so you've done very well to get that far. I do have a little video that I want to show you from two of our judges who are returning this year. I've got Christine White from Diversity Mark and Mark Lutuski from Ulster University, just to give you an idea of what it is that they're looking for whenever it comes to the judging stage.
Demonstrate your success with both storytelling and numbers. So instead of just saying that you've increased something or seen an improvement, for example, we've increased applications from disadvantaged backgrounds, give us the data, your starting point, your growth, and your future goals. If you reach the judging stage, send two positive and passionate people who know your submission inside out. Most importantly, follow the guidance notes to stay on track. Good luck!
The university has sponsored the Employer of Choice Award for a number of years now, and I'm delighted to be back as the judge again in 2025. At the initial submission stage, what makes an entry really stand out? Well, for me, it's about being able to tell that end-to-end story, which begins with the context, sets out the actions that were undertaken, and ends with clear impact. We are looking for those examples which are really employee-centric and which demonstrate how an organisation constantly considers and refreshes its approach to the employee journey. There are so many brilliant examples of organisations focusing on the employee experience in Northern Ireland, and I am always so impressed by those organisations who bring to life their work in an engaging and impactful way, clearly demonstrating that they are proud of what they've achieved. I'm looking forward to seeing what this year's entries offer. So if you've entered the awards before or you're considering entering for the first time, I really do encourage you to share your story. Good luck.
There you go, two lovely friendly faces. And we're building our awards judging panels at the minute. So we're all systems go on that, and that's nearly 40 of them. We're really grateful for their support too. So key dates then. The deadline is 5 p.m. on Friday, the 2nd of May. Just be conscious that Easter is in between there as well, so you might want to give yourself a bit of extra time. Our finalists will be announced on the 21st of May. So if you have got through or if you haven't got through, there'll be columns from business in the community. And if you do get through, we'll provide you with a communications pack where you can share that great news across your social media and internally with your colleagues as well. The judging panel interviews are the 24th and 25th of June. And then the big day will culminate with the awards gala event, which is in ICC Belfast on the 4th of September this year. So that's the big event where we'll announce our winners. So if you have any questions, if you want to pop them either in the chat or the Q&A, and I'll just pick up on them. If you may or may not have questions. If I don't get to them all, I'll follow up with an email anyway, which will include the slides here. You can have a wee look at a bit more information later down the line if you want. The gala event, you can get tickets for that on our website as well. So you can either buy a table or an individual place if you like, or a couple of places. It's an amazing night. Not being biased or anything, one of the best nights in the business calendar, and we can promise you an amazing night of music and entertainment and inspiring stories as well. So we're in the process of organising that too. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but it is looking really exciting for 2025. Our tickets are it's 170 per ticket if you're a member, 180 if you're not a member, and 1,700 for a table of 10 if you're a member, and 1,800 for a non-member. And that gets you your drinks reception, all the entertainment, lovely 3-course meal, tea, coffee, and a few other wee bits and bobs when you're there as well. Okay, any questions? I'm looking down the chat and there aren't any. Marie, if there's any in the Q&A, if you want to read them out to me. If not, that's good. That means I've been clear. But just to, oh, sorry, go on ahead, Marie.
Sorry, no, not just to say no questions yet.
Super. Okay, that's good stuff. Look, I am on hand. If there's any questions, myself or my team can pick up. You'll have my email address when I follow up the slides anyway. Just get in touch with me at any time if you want to talk about eligibility or any of the detail on making your entries. really, it's just for me to say the best of luck. If I think there's a couple on this call who aren't in membership with Business in the Community. The awards are open to you just as much as our members are. But if you are interested in chatting about what becoming a member means or what we can do for you and your organisation, just shoot me a wee email or click on the Join Us button on our website. And that is everything. Thank you very much for coming today. I'll follow through with the recording and best of luck with your entries.